What's going on, folks? Bill here from the Sports Insanity Network, and welcome to another edition of Murphy's View. Sorry these haven't been getting out lately. The last couple weeks have been a little weird, and last week I was actually sick. So, sorry I haven't been getting stuff out to you. And if I'm coughing throughout this thing, I'm getting over something. So, just bear with me. Well, in today we're going to be starting a little bit of a series here. Um, Tonight I'm recording this on Monday night, well, Tuesday morning because it's midnight now, and I wanted to do this while this was fresh in my head. Tonight we're going to start talking about the new series from ESPN, The Captain, which is about one of my childhood heroes, number two, shortstop Derek Jeter. Okay, if Bob Shepard heard that, he'd probably be rolling over in his grave. But anyway, so again, I'm still trying to figure out how to format this. I'm doing episode one tonight because it just came out. Episode two premieres on Thursday. So I'm gonna try to do that this weekend. And the rest of the weeks it's gonna kind of be weird because they're premiering episodes back to back. So I don't know if I'm gonna just bang one both of them out in one video or one episode one day and the next one the next day. But I'll figure it out as I go along. Enough with the details. Let's get down to business. So the captain is about, of course, Derek Jeter. Um, the first episode was when mainly about his early years when and not just about him but also about his parents, him being the product of a interracial marriage. His mom is Caucasian and his father's African American. And, a lot of the tensions going on there in like the, late 60s, early to mid 70s with that going on. And then Derek Jeter and his sister enter the picture. Well, his sister first because she's older, but you get the point. And talks about how much growing up Derek Jeter loved baseball, and because of his grandmother, who was a huge Yankee fan, he always wanted to play shortstop for the New York Yankees, which was a dream of his from the time he was a kid. And listen, we'll get more into this in a bit, but yeah, he made that dream a reality. Can we all just say that he made that dream a freaking reality? But so it talks about growing up in the Jeter household. I love this mentality from his parents. God bless them. They seem like great folks. Don't ever use the word can't. And I'm like, wow. They told him, you can't, you can, don't use the word can't. You can do whatever you want to do. You just got to work hard for it. You just got to work hard for it. And that is the mentality that shows to Jeter as a player. This was a man who never gave up, and he worked on that dream of being shortstop for the New York Yankees since he was a little kid. And you could tell he really took his parents' lesson to heart. And it's showing him, when he was playing in high school, when he was playing high school ball, and how scouts were looking after him. And then comes the day in 19 in 1992 when he's drafted at number 6 by the New York Yankees. And he thought he was going to go top 5, and he didn't know when the Yankees were picking because back in those days the draft wasn't televised. It was in a room. They'd have the people from the teams on the phone, and they would announce who they pick, and then they would call the people who they drafted. That was the early 90s, folks. We've evolved since then. But then he is then drafted by the Yankees, and he's playing in the minors. And then it shows that he is struggling, that he is just absolutely struggling right now. And he has said there are times that he wanted to go home. And it was funny, like they showed an interview with his father, Dr. Charles Jeter, that when he would call his parents and say, I want to go home, his mom would go, oh, sure, honey. His dad would go, nope, you're staying. Again, shows that don't say can't attitude, which, again, I freaking love. But he said, I had to keep believing in myself. Said, had to keep believing in myself. And let alone, he got better. Now, going on, because this is the Yankees organization. This was the time. It wasn't those 90s Yankees yet, the 96, 98, 99, 2000. We'll keep 2009 out of the picture for the moment because that's way down the road. But it wasn't those days yet, if you know what I mean. It wasn't the golden days. This was a pretty dark period in New York Yankees history. This was the dark ages from 1982 to 1995. So, and during this time, it turns out that the organization was in turmoil itself. George Steinbrenner, who was the late owner, got in trouble for hanging out with an associated gambler that was trying to dig up dirt on Dave Winfield, who, by the way, was Derek Jeter's hero growing up. And Steinbrenner got in trouble and resigned as owner and left the operations to Gene Michael, aka Stick, as VP and GM. So what ended up doing is Gene Michael basically laid the groundwork for the future teams. He was the one that looked into Jeter and Mariano and Andy Pettitte and Bernie Williams. He was the one that helped build those teams. And yeah, so anyway, it shows in 1995 when Jeter actually got called up to the Yankees, and that was the year that the Yankees made the playoffs. And they and that was Don Mattingly's last year, and they ended up losing the ALDS to the Seattle Mariners. And somebody at the end said, if you told me like during the off season that this was going to be the beginning of a dynasty, I would look at you and say you're crazy. So yeah, so they talk about like the Yankees around that time when they were struggling, and again, a lot about Jeter's life, which, well, it's his documentary. They better be talking about his life, damn it. Um, how he was a top athlete, but not just the athletic stuff that they talked about. I like how they talked about, how he is the product, again, of an interracial marriage, and that he faced racism when he was in the minor leagues. He went back to his hometown of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and somebody said to him, "Get your car out of here, you N-word." And his sister was talking about how his mom wasn't allowed where they did when she worked a corporate job. She wasn't allowed to have a picture of her family on her desk because it was an interracial marriage. and but they said don't. People are gonna hate. People are gonna go after you for that, but you just gotta brush it off. Again, I really love the way Derek Jeter's parents brought him up. Brought him to stay focused on his goals and to not let anyone talk you down. And that is awesome. And also, yeah, the documentary itself, it's so far, and we're only in episode one here, folks. We got like six more to go, but from what I'm seeing so far, the format is very similar to The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary from 2 years ago. It's actually from the executive producer of The Last Dance. Um, from two, it's very similar to it, and it's I'm really liking it so far. There's interviews by, of course, Jeter, his parents, his sister, Michael Kay, David Cohn, Andy Pettitte, Dave Winfield, a bunch of New York Post reporter whose name I'm escapes me right now, but I'm really liking the way they're telling the story right now, and I think I can't wait for the rest of this. You know, Derek, growing up as a Yankee fan, Derek Jeter was one of my childhood heroes, and I'm so excited that they're talking about this, and I can't wait to see more. And if you want to see more, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our bios. Check out all our podcasts, such as Wishbone Shotgun, Face Turn, The Throwdown, Breakaway Bandits, the 19th Hole, and the Granddaddy, the one that started all the Sports Insanity podcast. If you like what you see here on our YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. Thank you very much, folks. Stay safe and take care.